Yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Yeah. Look, Wrestling 101, classes in session. Pay attention to the teachings, that's from Andrew and Derek. I mean, these guys making a killing with no competition. Dynamic duo better than the Hardy Boys and the Dudley Boys. Everybody make some noise, mess with them, you get destroyed. They cannot be beat, take a seat. Watch them do they thing on the MIC. Face defeat, they cannot be seen like JC. Oh my goodness, it's a killing spree.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's the international delight, Ron Voyage, and you're listening to Wrestling IQ 101.
Hey everyone, this is Andrew from Wrestling IQ 101. When I'm not hosting our podcast, I'm usually at collarandelbowbrand.com. That's right, Collar and Elbow is the only place that combines wrestling with street attire. And I know what you're thinking, I want to look fashionable too. And I also want to save 10%, so head over to collarandelbowbrand.com and use the promo code WIQ101 and look fashionable and save some money. And now, on with the show. Hey guys, welcome back to another edition of Wrestling IQ 101. I'm Andrew, and you can follow Wrestling IQ 101 on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Wrestling IQ 101. And today, I'm joined by Kevin Nasta. How's it going, man?
Hey, how are you today?
Good, man. Thanks for coming on. You know, I'm glad you're glad we were able to work this out. So, Kevin, you know, you've done a lot of different things in wrestling. When did wrestling become one of your passions in life?
I mean, I was always a fan of wrestling as a kid growing up. I grew up on late 70s and golden era wrestling, 80s. I was a really, really huge Macho Man, Randy Savage fan growing up. I stopped watching it pretty much after the whole WCW purchase and that invasion angle, and I didn't start watching it again until 2012, and that's kind of when I got into the industry business-wise.
Oh, wow. So, I mean, you talked about the golden era. You alluded to it just before, and then transitioning into a Macho Man fan. How was that for you? I mean, that's so different, right?
Well, you know, it was the era of the late 70s going into the early 80s. Mm-hmm. It wasn't as different as a lot of people kind of explain it to be, or if you watch the WWE Network, they kind of they try to keep the eras so different from one another, but they're really not different. I mean, everybody knows, I mean, wrestling is pretty much a male soap opera, so you can stop watching it for a while and watch it again, and it's the same thing, just with different characters. So, back in the late 70s, you know, you kind of had Bruno towards the end of his career, and Jesse the Body was, you know, starting to do some of the broadcasting and guys like that. And you got into the Hogan era where, you know, then they started bringing in mainstream with mainstream media and music and rock and roll and the movies and things like that. I mean, that was different when it came to wrestling, but the wrestling itself was pretty much still the same. It was still the good guy versus the bad guy. And the bad guy crushing the dreams of all the kids by hurting the good guy, and then him making that epic comeback and, you know, making everybody go home happy. So, I mean, it pretty much was all the same. They just, you know, different faces. And even when you got into the 90s and the Attitude Era, I mean, it got risque, you know, TNA, I'm not talking about the TNA wrestling, but until TNA got more involved in wrestling. It was still telling a story. Some of it was not so much wrestling-wise, but it always told a story. It always was there to entertain the fans. And that's kind of, you know, where Vince McMahon does his thing. You know, he's an entertainer. Wrestling is secondary, and that's the difference between the old-school fans and present-day fans, is because the old-school fans love wrestling. They love to see the technical senses in the ring. They love to see the story being told with the match itself. The new school fans love the story being told by anything else other than the wrestling.
Nice. Now you run, you know, Damage 360 Promotions. How did that get started, and you know, how's it progressed since you have it?
2012 I sat down with my cousin in my house, and I was like, we just started watching wrestling again that year. I said, we should just do a radio show. Because when I was a kid, I did myself, I used to sit there with my little single speaker cassette radio, and I used to hit record, and I used to tape myself doing play-by-play with wrestling and baseball and like all these other things. Or even like I would have my baseball cards in front of me, and I would like having an imaginary game of baseball where I'm broadcasting by flipping guys over and who's up and who's pitching and things like that. So as I get older, and back in I say like 2011, 2012, podcasting wasn't as big as it is now. So only a couple of people were doing it, and I really didn't listen. I've never listened to anybody's podcast at that point, but I just thought it would be cool to reach out to a couple of groups of friends that I knew watched wrestling, and we'd talk about it. Maybe they'd call in, and we'd go back and forth and stuff like that. So, but we weren't only going to be talking about wrestling. We wanted to talk about other sports. This was like right at the peak where Alex Rodriguez got busted again for the steroids and got suspended, and I'm a Mets, so of course we wanted to shit on him about that. And so the day before WrestleMania, in 2012, we were like, all right, let's do this. So we went up to one of these sites that was free hosting, and I literally had like 2 hours to learn how to do whatever the hosting site allowed us to do. And it was epically awful. I mean, it was so bad because we're trying not to walk on top of each other while we're talking, but so there was kind of a lot of dead air of us like looking at each other going, oh wait, no, I'm supposed to talk. And the speaker, we were using the internal mic and the computer, which is a big no-no, and we were playing music in the background off the computer, so it was just instant feedback through the microphone and the speakers up the computer. So it was just so awful. But we had to learn. But people would get the kick out of it. They thought it was funny. I think the first show we had maybe 15 people listening in the week span. We did another show, and it increased, and finally, we got some microphones and some Bluetooth speakers, and we literally did it up. We had the headphones on, and we went from the kitchen table eating a slice of pizza to changing one of my bedrooms in my house into a soundproof studio. And that's where we are now. I mean, this was 2012. We're now in 2019. 7 years. We're in our 7th season of my show, the Indie Super Show. We have 4 other shows on our network talking about all different things, between movie reviews to wrestling shows to sports shows. And, we switched over to Total Wrestling after a month of doing it. And, we started bringing in, actually our first interview, wrestling-related interview, was Jasmine St. Clair. Wow. Coincidentally is our big event guest this coming March. And, she was our first, really wrestling-related. She talked about ECW and things like that. And I met her a couple months later at a convention in Atlantic City, and we just branched out from there. I mean, in 7 years, we've had over 150 guests and done interviews at wrestling shows and things like that. But, but like anything, it evolves. We went through a little change last season where we wanted to concentrate just on independent wrestling and smaller, non-mainstream things. But we got a little bit away from interviews as far as WWE talent. We started interviewing Impacts, ROH. When we were going to shows, we were interviewing or taking some sound bites from independent wrestlers or some of the people that were brought in to do the shows, like a Kimberly or a Sue Young, things like that. And, it picked up. People were like, all right, nobody wants to hear about, DiBiase talking about the same thing 140,000 times. They wanted to hear about the up-and-comers. They wanted to hear about the younger people and who and how they were influenced in this wrestling business. So it makes for a better storytelling. And then, like I said, we went from sitting at the kitchen table to a studio office, from 14 listeners to thousands of listeners in a week. let alone from week to week. We were played not only in the United States, we're listened to in 17 other countries. We're literally worldwide, and that took about a year and a half before that happened. Now we went from just speaker radio to we're on YouTube, we're on iHeartRadio, and we're also on Spotify.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, 7 years of hard work, and it's paying off for you guys. That's absolutely incredible. For sure.
I appreciate it. It's hard because you go week to week and you're like, oh crap, what are we going to talk about? We got to get somebody in. What content we're going to use, and it's not just some of these people think that like, oh, you guys are just they can't do it, so they're going to talk it. Mm-hmm. But there's how hard is it? It's a lot of work. I mean, you have to have content every single week. You don't want to repeat and talk about the same stuff over and over again. That's kind of why we got away from WWE whenever we could. I mean, we do still talk about it here and there, but we try to stay away from it because it is a repetitive conversation over and over again from week in and week out with WWE. It's the same programming over and over and over again. And, who's shitting on it, who's loving it. It's just, we wanted to get into, Impact and Water Age and House of Glory, House of Hardcore, Wrestle Pro, Warriors of Wrestling, wherever. I mean, we're based out of New Jersey, but we travel all over the place. I mean, we were just in New Orleans for WrestleCon weekend, doing that show for WrestleMania and WrestleCon. We were in Orlando last year to do it. We're gonna be in Fort Wayne, Indiana this year doing a Heroes and Legends convention. So, we're all over the place, and we try to get little sound bits from people. Despite going down there and doing all the promotional things with the conventions and bringing in talent, we try to get little sound bits from talent while we're down there to play on the show. And we have tribute shows. Unfortunately, when wrestlers pass, we try to recognize them on the show, send out a salute, play some interviews and things like that. We're able to grab off YouTube. We just did a Mean Gene one. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, we try to stay well-rounded in the wrestling community, but at the same time, we don't want to be dry and boring. And being in the wrestling industry, talking about anything, wrestling gives you a lot to talk about, especially some of the dumb things that some of these wrestlers do. So the content's there, but at the same time, you need to change it up so your listeners don't get bored, because once they leave, as WCW found out a long time ago, once they leave, they don't come back.
Oh, yeah, it's true. The thing I find interesting about you, you said you do the conventions and stuff like that, and I've seen you. I mean, what was that Boardwalk Beatdown? You brought in Decay. When you bring in these larger-than-life stars to these conventions, and you see people buying the stuff, does that make you happy that maybe you just made somebody's dream come true? Like they got to meet their favorite superstar?
Absolutely. Without a shadow of a doubt. And I've been on record saying that on numerous podcasts and mine as well, and in person, that, I mean, at the end of the day, every booking agent, promoter wants to make money. Sure. I mean, that's their goal. You're investing money to bring this talent in, to put on display, getting them in hotels, feeding them, paying them to be there, buying the merchandise to sell at the table, driving them all over the place. You get your transportation costs there besides the airplane. So obviously your goal is to make money, but also just seeing that kid walk up to the table, and I'll use this past November at Big Event Queens as an example. I had one of my friends brought his daughter to the show to meet Angelina Love. And the smile on her face, she couldn't stop smiling. She was smiling for like 10 minutes because she was so happy to meet her finally. She took pictures with her, got her autograph, she hugged her for like 10 minutes. I mean, she was just so happy. And that's a gratifying thing. And I feel like if that doesn't make you happy as a promoter, and that isn't like a goal of yours to make people smile and make people happy meeting their heroes, then you're probably doing it for the wrong reasons and might not want to be in this business, because it's all about person-to-person contact with conventions. Even if you go to a baseball one, I've been to baseball ones. I got to meet my favorite baseball players in my life, and I probably had a shit grin from ear to ear. I mean, who knows? Then God, nobody took a picture of it, but I probably did.
Yeah, that's funny. And it's great because you've brought in some of the biggest stars into this area, from Emma to Tessa Blanchard to Nikolai Volkov. Angelina Love that you alluded to, Jazz, Decay. So many people. Who've been some of your favorites to work with?
My favorites to work with, let's see, I'll give you my top three in each gender. So we'll go, I'll say the males, definitely Bob Orton,
Wow.
Eric Bischoff, and Tony Schiavone.
Really?
Three really and Bruce Pritchard's probably up there tied for third, because that guy is hilarious. Cannot have a bad day when he's around. It's just that funny. But Eric Bischoff gets a bad rap because of WCW, which, if anybody did their due diligence of history, would realize that it wasn't Eric Bischoff's fault, but everybody shits on the guy anyway. Plus they always base people off their TV characters. Away from TV, he's not that guy. He's a businessman, he's smart, he knows his worth, that's his worth, but he's professional, and he handles himself that way. I've never had a problem. I brought him to the last two WrestleCons, I brought him to Pizza, I've done business with him before that, I'm doing business with him multiple times this coming year, 2019. He's just that type of guy. Bob Orton is like the grandfather that everybody wants. The coolest guy, most laid back, relaxed, great stories, so easy, it has zero cares in the world. Tony Schiavone was a great guy to be around because he worked for both companies, and he was just a very, very easy guy to talk to, very outgoing, and he doesn't do a lot of these because he does college football and college sports, he broadcasts and does stuff like that. Bruce Pritchard, when we brought him in, his podcast was just getting off the ground, and they were doing very, very well when we brought him to Orlando last year. It was in 2017. And, he's a funny guy. I brought him into Legends of the Ring in New Jersey for that convention, and, he had a good time and things like that. So, definitely those guys would rank up there. As far as the women are concerned, it's really hard because I've only had one bad experience with a female talent, and everybody else has just been so awesome to work with. I've worked with pretty much every female worker from Impact Wrestling.
Wow, that's incredible.
WrestleCon alone in New Orleans this past April, I had Allie, Rosemary, Alicia Edwards, Chelsea Green, Sienna. We also had SoCal Val, who used to work for Impact years before that. So I've worked with all of them. I've worked with Kimberly, Tessa Blanchard, you mentioned before, Kelly Klein, who is the current Women of Honor champion, heavyweight champion, or world champion, whatever they're calling that. I just call Ring of Honor Women's champion. It's hard. I've worked with Sue Young. It's Katarina. I've worked with her. She used to wrestle in Impact. The first time around is Winter. So I've worked with a lot of them, and honestly, they've all been a pleasure to work with. And I could count on one hand how many bad experiences I've had total with talent. I would say one male, one female, and that's really it in 7 years. So it's not that bad.
Yeah, it's an incredible run, man. And I have to be honest with you. I've met some of the people that you've brought in, at a Warriors Wrestling show, at a different convention, and man, everybody you've ever brought in have been super awesome. Like Terry Reynolds. I mean, that little 7-year-old kid who had a crush on Terry. I was beaming, man. I was like, this is crazy. And I even told her, I was like, yo, I wish, I'm glad I got to meet you. But that little kid had that crush on you, man. I'm still that kid inside. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's funny because that Terry Reynolds, when I brought her in, that was the same show that I brought in Sue Young and Katarina.
Yeah.
It was kind of like three different generations of wrestlers then, and or three different generations that were involved in wrestling. That with Terry as a wrestler, but she was very heavily involved in the business.
Yeah.
And Kat wrestled as Winter. She was a multiple-time champion with Impact. And Sue Young has held the title recently with Impact, and she's internationally known. Just of course, who's dating. Well, now he did. I mean, yeah, I mean, it's great. You're happy to meet her, and that's like stuff like that. I love hearing those stories. I love waking up on the weekend of science and picking up my phone and seeing like you have 28 notifications that you were tagged on in Twitter. I pull them up, and it's everybody posting their pictures, tweeting us, saying thank you. There's no better feeling. I don't think. Gratifying in elementary doing what I did than that. I mean, some guys are like, oh, if you reach in your pocket and feel money, that's an obvious thing.
Mm-hmm.
But at the time, you can't put a price for a kid's smile.
Yeah, and I mean, it's crazy. I mean, when you started this thing, I mean, did you meet and exceed every expectation that you even set out to have on this?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's crazy. The first big event we went to, it wasn't even at the Bloody Plaza Hotels, the older one, and we were like sardines stuffed in a can in this tiny little room, and I brought 2 indie talents, the Down Boys, and we were just trying to get our name out. We were handing out pens and bits of cookies with our company name on the ribbons, stickers. I mean, anything that had our name on, we were just handing to people, and people go by and put pens in their pockets and their pocketbooks and whatever, and we were just trying to get our names out. We brought the Down Boys with us so they could get a little exposure and network, meet some promoters, meet some workers, so they can get bookings and things like that. And that's kind of where it started. Our first real show, like when we brought in an actual talent, when we paid them to come in, we brought in former ECW wrestler Angel Orsini.
Oh wow!
Yeah, we brought her to Big Event, and that was the first person. We also had Nyla Rose, who was currently the Women of Warriors champion. We brought her into that show as well because if you probably obviously you know this, but we like to bring in an independent wrestler almost at every show. So it just, to me, it helps. Because not only they sitting at the table, they're selling merchandise and they make a little money, put a little coin in their pocket. That's great. But they're interacting with other workers in the industry that are flown in from all over the country and sometimes outside the country. Where now they can meet with them, they can talk with them, network with them, learn things, exchange information, and who knows when that goes down the road. I mean, you never know. I mean, we're bringing in Soraya Knight in May. She's from the UK. Everybody who doesn't know who she is, that's Paige's mom. She trained Paige. She's a trainer. She's an unbelievable worker in the ring, and it's her family that's being featured on the movie that Rock just produced that's coming out a month or so, called Fighting with My Family.
Yeah, I mean, that's incredible. And yeah, absolutely, she is a fantastic wrestler. Is there somebody that you haven't worked with that you would love to bring in, maybe from today's current roster, maybe an indie star that maybe you haven't had the proper time to work with?
I mean, I would have loved to work with Celeste Lee. She used to wrestle as Caitlyn.
Yeah.
But that's pretty much my own selfish reasons, because I was like super hot for her back in the day.
Yeah, you're human, it's okay.
That's for my own selfish reasons. But I don't know. I have to say, quick. I mean, obviously, I would love. No, it would never happen, but I would love to work with Vince McMahon. I would love to bring Vince McMahon somewhere and interact with the general public and see how that goes. I mean, just all the big raps that he gets for the punch and those clothes now and all the stuff that people say. I would just love for him to just sit down at a table and just sign whatever, take pictures of people, and I just think the whole demeanor would be different of people. They wouldn't look at him as Vince McMahon, as the guy that's running wrestling. They won't look at him as Mr. McMahon, the guy from the Attitude Era, the caster from the early '80s. They look at it as holy crap, that's a huge piece of wrestling history that I think need to be put on. And he's signing autographs right now. So that's where I look at it. I would love to work with. I think to be honest with you, Stephanie, Shane, Linda, Even Triple H to a certain extent, obviously kills himself because he is who he is.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I would love to work with any of them, and not just because, like I said, it's not just because it's about making money and things like that, but I think that would just be a bucket list item for somebody that goes to a convention that wants to get that encyclopedia signed or wants to meet that certain person in wrestling that was just so important to them in their lifetime. Vince has been doing this a long time. He's affected many generations of wrestling fans. There's a lot of people out there that want to meet that guy.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I wouldn't mind meeting Vince McMahon. It was funny because you struck on this earlier when you talked about being a Mets fan. I'm also a Mets fan. What do you think about this season coming up?
Look, it's really hard to be optimistic as a Mets fan because we've been let down and disappointed pretty much our entire lives.
Mm-hmm. It's true.
The whole thing with the Mets, and it has been for years, is health. If they stay healthy, the Mets, I think, not going to go crazy, they have a chance to win between 88 and 93 games. If they stay healthy, which I think will be enough to make the post. If they get any key injury to the rotation or to the starting lineup, like they did, they started the year last year without Conforto, and that hurt them because it took them 2 months to get going. I think that kills them right there because they don't have the depth and they don't have the minor league system to pluck out of the close depth, until guys get healthy again. So they have that team where they have to stay healthy, all of them, and they all have to click at once. They can't have half the lineup hitting and the other half not hitting, and then vice versa 2 months later. It has to click. It has to be one of those seasons like 2000. It has to be one of those, the team that nobody thought should have been there. But they all clicked at the same time and down the stretch, and they won. But obviously there wasn't a World Series, but we'll take it. We'll take any trip to the playoffs we can get as Mets fans.
Yeah, I'll definitely take it. Who's your favorite Met of all time?
Let's see. My favorite Met growing up was Rusty Staub.
Okay.
Who doesn't like the fat guy hitting home runs? Who doesn't like that? And I would say as I got older, one of my favorite Mets was Howard Johnson, and David Wright is an easy guy. How can you not love David Wright? I mean, there's people that don't even like the Mets that love David Wright.
Yeah. Can we both agree
I was a big Jeff Kent fan, but more, he didn't spend a lot of his career with the Mets, but I loved him when he was with the Mets, and I followed his career after.
Can we both agree that Mike Piazza is the greatest player of all time, though?
I don't know.
No? Oh, man.
I don't know. He couldn't catch cold.
I love number 31. It's my favorite player of all time, man.
No, he was great. I had season tickets with the Mets for 6 years, so I've seen a lot of Mike Piazza, and he was a good ball player. He was a trooper. He was one of those guys that you look back and you say, hey, who's one of those guys that you go into battle with your team? And Mike Piazza was definitely one of them. John Franco was another.
Oh, John Franco.
He drove you nuts, but he's he was one of those guys. You think of those Mets, those gritty, no BS, no business type players. That Piazza was one of them.
Yeah. I was there for his first game, Piazza, as a Met. I was there when he got inducted into the Mets Hall of Fame, and when they retired his number. I was like, this is like a full circle dream for me. And
yeah, definitely.
It was awesome.
I've been through so many. I spent so many days and summers sitting at Shea Stadium. It's totally sickening if you go back and think about at that stadium. But I mean, it was 1 year. It was probably 2000 because the last season I had him was 2001 because when they jacked the prices up. But 2000, and all the baseball games that I went to I went to 83 games that. So that included Shea Stadium, couple trips to Veterans Stadium, trip to RFK. I went to a game at Tampa when I was there. So I saw a lot of baseball that year. I was there for all the playoff games. I was there for the Benny Atbayani extra inning in the rain home run over Bonds' head. I was there for, unfortunately, Bernie Williams squeezing Mike Piazza's fly ball to center field. That everybody in the ballpark thought that ball was gone. And somehow, with our Rutgers Met fans, it landed in his glove.
Yeah, it was a terrible moment for any Met fan. You know, we'll have to go to a game one day, and because I love Citi Field, but Shea will always have my heart. But Citi Field is a close second.
It was like, it was a dump. But it was not a dump.
Oh, I loved it.
Yeah, it was absolutely not a dump. And it's funny because you said, you got to go again. I went to, my dogs are going nuts. I went to the first ever game at Citi Field. Mm-hmm. They played an exhibition against the Red Sox. I went to that game. And then I went to Game 2 of that opening day season against the Marlins, and I haven't been back since.
Really?
I do not like the ownership. I think the Wilpons, they're just prolonging the fact that we do not have a consistent franchise. We do not have a consistent anything because of them. I've nicknamed them the coupons because that's pretty much how they try to put teams together. It's like a buy one, get one free kind of deal with them all the time. But it just, it aggravates all my fans. But I just felt, every time I go to a game, it's just like, it just aggravates me. And it has nothing to do with the stadium, because the stadium is absolutely beautiful.
Yeah.
It's not really baseball to me. It's more like a shopping mall. The baseball field's stuck in the middle of it, but it's still nice. But it doesn't have that aura. It doesn't scream New York Mets. It screams Dodgers. But when you're in Shea Stadium, you know Shea Stadium is where the Mets played. Like, you felt like you walked in, you looked at all the flags hanging from the ceiling, like, you knew it was the Mets. You knew it was the history of that team. You were there. You got to witness it. Go to Citi Field, and it's like everything's Dodgers. There's some Mets scattered around. They really haven't done anything since they moved to that stadium. I mean, granted, they went to the one that's the penalty World Series in 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, it was great. I watched the games. I was all into it, but it doesn't have that aura, And you can see the same thing with the new Yankee Stadium. I went there actually for a heavy metal concert. I've actually never seen a game at the new stadium.
Okay.
But it doesn't scream Yankee tradition when you go there. You went to the old Yankee Stadium, or some of the old timers will say Yankee Stadium 2.0. It's great. Like you walked in and you just felt like the ghosts of Yankee. Joe DiMaggio. You felt like they were still there. I don't know of that franchise and how old it is. The Mets just don't have the middle history. It's just painful.
Yeah. I felt the same way. Well, I've only been to Yankee Stadium, both of them once. And yeah, I don't know. It's just I didn't really enjoy my time at Yankee Stadium. But yeah, I know what you're saying about Citi Field. Yeah, I know what you're saying about Citi Field, though. It's getting there. It's getting kind of homier now, I guess, as the years go by.
But again, I understand you have to have a present to have history. But the problem is, it was 2009 they opened up. The Yankees already won a championship in that time. They've been to multiple World Series in that time.
True.
So we're in a large market, but owners spend like they're a small market. So it's very frustrating to, and Yankees are in our league, they're not in our division, so nobody really should care, but you do care. What White Sox fan doesn't care about the Cubs, despite playing in different leagues? Of course they do.
Oh yeah, you got city rivals all the time, everywhere you go.
Right, so I mean, it's just, the Ohio teams, of course they look at each other, see what each other's doing. I mean, it's just natural rivalry, that's what happens. Football, the Jets and the Giants, I mean, they play in the same stadium, but they're in, one's in the AFC, one's in the NFC. They have nothing to do with each other, unless they play each other, they hate each other. Doesn't happen that often, but you don't think that the fans fight with each other over who's better and who, I mean, as bad as the Giants are, they're not the Jets.
The Jets and the Giants might be playing to see who's worse.
Oh, really? God, man.
And I'm a Jets fan. Oh, man. Yeah, us poor Jet fans. But yeah, you said it. Yeah, that's how it is. Cities like to rival each other, and you know.
But everybody knows that but our owners.
Yeah, I guess.
That's what I don't understand. Yeah. Everybody knows this, but the Wilpons and what's the other called? There's Saul something or other. Cats.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. It's somebody like they must have missed the memo for the last 30-something years that the Yankees play in the same state. Like, can you please do something?
Yeah.
Like, at least show some effort. I don't think a Mets fan would care if the Wilpons went out there and spent a boatload of money and it blew up in their face and everybody shit the bed. I don't think anybody would care because they knew they spent the money.
Yeah.
They gave us that opportunity, but the players have come. Well, and that's the Mets MO. You know, from the Roberto Alomars to the Mo Bournes to the Jason Bays.
Hey.
It just happens. I mean, we get these guys and they're the best players available, and they just crap the bed. And we, you know, as Mets fans are like, oh my God, how did this happen all the time to us? It's only us. And it's not only us, but you know, we don't care what White Sox players do. We don't care what the Royals players do. We don't care about how bad our players are. But it just gets magnified because, you know, we're tuned for the Mets. And you watch the Yankees be successful. Even when the Yankees aren't successful, they're still successful.
Yeah.
So if they're not making the playoffs, they're still winning 90 games, which is really, really weird.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, because I mean, look, the AL East is a tough division. I mean, it doesn't matter how bad Toronto, Baltimore, and the Rays are. They're still an American League team, and there's still going to be tough competition for anybody.
Yeah, absolutely.
When was the last time the NL East had 3 solid teams, let alone 2?
Yeah, I mean...
It's been a long time. I mean, if you remember in the 80s, I don't know how old you are, but if you remember in the 80s, you know, you had the Mets, you had the Pittsburgh Pirates, you had the St. Louis Cardinals, you had the Chicago Cubs, Montreal Expos. I mean, back then, the Expos weren't the best team out of them, but every one of those teams were battling it out for the division. Pittsburgh, the Cubs, St. Louis Cardinals, the Mets. I mean, they were all battling each other every year. Every year somebody came out of that division different, and every year all those teams were right up there and had a chance. You know, a couple of years ago, the Expos did win the division. And the year of the strike in '94, they had the best record in baseball, and the strike literally destroyed their entire franchise. But, you know, when was the last time you can say the Mets, the Phillies, the Nationals, the Braves all had 500 or better records? I can't even tell you when.
Yeah, especially like you just said, you know, it's always one team just runs away with it, maybe 2, but never really all the teams in the division look sturdy. I mean, the Phillies fell apart last year, right? I mean, the Nats, right? So, yeah.
Yep, it's sad, but true.
So, you know, Kevin, it's interesting. I mean, did you watch Access, the WoW show on the other night?
You're talking about the Women of Wrestling show?
Yeah, the WoW.
No, I did not. I don't watch, to be honest with you, I don't watch much wrestling anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It just, watching the product into kind of ruins it for me.
Okay.
Because I don't enjoy watching WWE, and then I kind of take that negative aura that I get off watching that, and it kind of affects everything else. And it's unfair because there's so much good wrestling out there. There's so much good independent wrestling out there, especially the women.
Mm-hmm.
And I just stopped watching because it's like every time I watch WWE, it just ruins it. Now I watch something else, and I'm literally watching it like, even though it's not bad, but I just had this negative thought process in my head because of WWE product. So I haven't been watching it, other than the shows that I go to if I'm bringing talent and things like that. And even sometimes I'm not paying attention to it. But yeah, I'm gonna change that. I promise to everybody. I'm giving everybody a chance except WWE. But
well, the McMahon.
It's not the rush. I'm not shitting on WWE. Don't get me wrong. All the talent that's in WWE is probably the greatest talent on the planet Earth.
Yeah.
And it's not their fault how they're used. So I'm never crapping on any of the talent in the locker room, man or woman. It's just the writing. It's just bad. Creative is bad. The writing is bad. The storylines are awful. And it's not their fault because they go out there and they do what they do at the highest level possible. But it's never enough because the writing is just that bad.
Yeah. Well, Kevin, I really thank you, man, for taking up the time and talking with us. Where can people, tune into your podcast, come and see you if they want to, meet some of the stars that you have this upcoming WrestleCon?
Sure. Our website is d365promotions.com. On there, you can get pre-sales for any shows that we're doing, from big events to WrestleCon to Heroes and Legends to any of the local independent shows that we attend with talent. You can also listen to any one of our shows that are on the Damage 365 Radio Network. We also have merchandise for sale and things that we have from the signings. Any stories that we're doing. We can be reached on Instagram and Twitter at Damage 365 Radio. We're on Facebook. Just type in Damage 365. We pop right up. And like I said, we can be listened to. My show, the Indie Super Show, can be listened to on Spotify and iHeartRadio.
Yeah, awesome. And where can people get you on social media if they want to connect?
Well, pretty much all of that is me. But if you want to talk to me directly, I'm also on Facebook. Facebook.com/Nasta, Nasta. That's my last name. And boom, there I will pop up.
Well, Kevin, again, seriously, man, thank you so much for taking out the time. I had a ball talking with you and talking about the Mets and wrestling. I mean, you can't get better than that in my book.
Maybe a championship, maybe.
Okay, well, that maybe be a slightly better, but yeah, I mean,
we all need goals, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Kevin, man, we absolutely love to have you back on soon. And for me, this is Andrew from Wrestling IQ 101. You can listen to us right here on YouTube or on the B Plus Player Network. And remember to follow us at Wrestling IQ 101, and we'll see you very soon, guys. Thank you.